Okay, picture this. You're lying in bed at night and you feel this massive surge of motivation. You make a firm promise to yourself, right? You say, tomorrow, everything changes. I'm going to be totally disciplined. But then, morning rolls around. You open your eyes, reach over to hit the alarm and think, you know what? I'll just watch 5 minutes of Reels to wake up. And we all know exactly how that movie ends. Those innocent 5 minutes secretly snowball into 2 solid hours of endless scrolling. Suddenly, your whole morning is just gone, replaced by this heavy, sinking guilt. You feel lazy, you start putting off the rest of your day, and by nighttime, you're whispering that exact same empty promise. Tomorrow, I'll start for real. Listen, if this cycle sounds painfully familiar, hear me out. This isn't just a simple case of laziness. It's not a character flaw. It's actually something much deeper.
Welcome to today's Explainer. I am super excited to have you here because we are tackling this exact endless cycle head-on. Today, we're breaking down a transformative 5-habit framework derived from our source material that will completely shift how you operate. We're going to stop relying on that fleeting, unreliable burst of nighttime motivation. Instead, we're building an automatic, unbreakable system. By the end of this Explainer, you won't just be trying to be disciplined, you'll understand exactly how to become addicted to it.
Okay, let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for conquering that morning scrolling guilt. First, we'll uncover the real distraction addiction. Then we'll hit the 5 core habits, starting small, building a fixed routine, creating your system, and shifting your identity. Finally, we'll wrap up by exploring how all this comes together to make you truly unstoppable. Section 1. The real distraction addiction.
Let's really dig into the root of this. When you're stuck in that digital scroll and feel like you have zero self-control, it's so easy to just beat yourself up. You probably think you lack willpower, right? But blaming willpower is entirely missing the mark. The struggle you face every single morning is not because you're weak. What's actually happening is that your brain is getting completely hooked on easy dopamine and short-term pleasure. Think about it. Every time you swipe to a new, highly stimulating short video, your brain gets a tiny, effortless chemical reward. Over time, your brain physically adapts to this cheap dopamine. It falls in love with the easy life. And because it's so used to getting high rewards for literally zero effort, the moment you try to do a difficult task, like studying, working out, or focusing on a complex project, your brain violently rejects it. Neurologically speaking, your brain is basically throwing a tantrum because it doesn't want to work for its reward anymore.
Now, this totally flips our usual problem-solving upside down. We always think, if I just had more motivation, I could finally get to work. But since your brain is already deeply addicted to that easy digital pleasure, motivation is absolutely not the solution. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings fade fast. The real solution? You have to strategically swap out your addiction. It's about taking that powerful mechanism in your brain that craves a consistent reward and rewiring it so that you actually become addicted to the execution of discipline instead.
Section 2. Habit 1. Start small. This is where so many of us literally crash our own operating systems. You desperately want to change your life, so you boldly declare, I'm going to study for 5 hours straight today, or I'm hitting the gym for 2 hours every single day. And what happens? By day 2, your entire system shuts down. Why? Because your brain inherently rejects massive, sudden lifestyle changes. It sees them as a huge threat to its comfy, easy dopamine routine. Instead, you've got to bypass that resistance entirely. Read just 1 page. Do just 5 push-ups. Focus for just 10 minutes. When you scale your initial goals down to something ridiculously small, you sneak right past your brain's internal alarm system. Discipline doesn't magically appear from successfully completing one massive task. It is built by repeating a tiny task over and over again until it becomes an unbreakable habit. You just have to start.
Section 3. Habit 2. Build a fixed routine.
Waking up and having to decide what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, that drains your mental energy before you've even started actually working. It's a psychological phenomenon known as decision fatigue. Real discipline begins when thinking stops and execution starts. Think about it. If you have to sit there and negotiate with yourself every single morning about whether you should start working right now or in 10 minutes, you've already lost the battle. But if you set a hard, fixed rule like I study every single day at exactly 7 a.m., you remove the decision-making entirely. Your brain just goes on autopilot. It becomes automatic. No thinking, only action.
Section 4. Habits 3 and 4. System.
True discipline isn't just about sheer willpower. It requires consciously building an environment that aggressively protects your focus. I really want you to hear this validation. You aren't weak, your environment is weak. If your phone is sitting right next to you, notifications are pinging, and your reels are just 1 tap away, staying disciplined is practically impossible. Your environment is quite literally begging you to fail. So you have to systematically tweak it. Turn on airplane mode during your dedicated work blocks.
Delete the apps that drain your time, or at the very least, put strict, unchangeable time limits on them. Keep your workspace clean and completely clear of visual distractions. Remember this golden rule. The easier it is to get distracted in your environment, the more impossible it will be to stay disciplined. You have to design a physical space where doing the hard work is actually the path of least resistance.
And this brilliantly tees up habit number 4, tracking your progress. Try aiming for a 30-day streak. There's this fundamental rule in self-improvement. What gets measured gets improved. Sometimes it feels like you aren't making any progress simply because you can't physically see it. That's where a simple calendar or habit tracker becomes your absolute best friend. Every time you complete your small daily task, put a big, satisfying check mark on the calendar. Seeing that visual streak grow day by day creates a highly powerful hit of what we can call discipline dopamine. Once you clearly see a chain of consistency, your brain will do everything in its power not to break it. You're visually proving to yourself that you're succeeding, and that fuels the desire to keep going.
Section 5. Habit 5. Change your identity.
This is without a doubt the most profound and powerful habit in this entire framework. It requires a massive psychological shift in how you view yourself at your very core. See, there's a subtle but huge difference between wanting something and being it. Most people operate entirely from the mindset of, I want to be disciplined. They treat discipline like some distant, shiny object they're desperately trying to catch. But when you simply want something, your brain still identifies you as someone who doesn't currently have it. You need to forcefully change that internal narrative. Start claiming it as your core identity right now. Tell yourself, I am a disciplined person. I am the exact type of person who completes their work. I refuse to make excuses. When you fundamentally change your identity, your everyday actions automatically have to align with that new belief to avoid mental friction. You stop acting like someone trying to build a new habit, and you start acting exactly like the person you already are.
And finally, Section 6, Conclusion, How to Become Unstoppable.
Let's be completely real with each other for a second as we wrap this up. When you first start applying these 5 habits, it is going to feel painful. It's going to feel incredibly boring and tedious. Because remember, your brain is currently addicted to constant hyperstimulating distraction. Every single addiction hurts when you first try to break it. You'll have to consciously force it in the very beginning. But soon, that force becomes a natural habit, and that habit completely merges with your default identity. If you apply these specific habits consistently, the timeline of transformation is absolutely incredible to witness. In just 1 month, you'll be noticeably better. You'll feel a sense of control returning. In 3 months, you'll be a completely different person. Your default physiological responses will have shifted from procrastination to immediate action. And in 6 months, you'll be entirely unrecognizable to the person you are right now. Your overall capacity for deep focus and high output will literally blow your own mind.
So, we arrive at the ultimate crossroads, and I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Will you become addicted to distraction, letting your days, weeks, and years slip through your fingers 5 minutes at a time? Or will you actively choose to become addicted to discipline, taking absolute control of your focus and your future? The choice is entirely yours. I strongly urge you to take action today. Pick just one incredibly small habit from this explainer, fully commit to it right now, and drop a comment below saying day 1 to make it official. Because while motivation might be the spark that gets your engine started, true, unwavering discipline is the only thing that makes you truly unstoppable. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.